All right, welcome everyone. Today, we're cracking open a case file on, well, a really important matter. We're going to be forensic, we're going to be diligent, and we are absolutely going to get to the bottom of one of the internet's most pressing questions. So let's just dive right in.
So, it all started right here, with this bold, almost unbelievable claim I stumbled upon in a corner of the internet. A proclamation that a new contender has emerged for the title of Ultimate Brat, someone who could supposedly dethrone the reigning champ. And you know what? That one single sentence, that's what kicked off this whole investigation.
And that really brings us to the heart of it, right? To even figure out if this claim is true, we have to set a baseline. So who is this Lady Bird Lou? And seriously, what does someone have to do to be considered even worse? We gotta look at the evidence.
Okay, first up, case file Lady Bird Lou. We need to figure out her whole deal, establish that benchmark for what bratty really means. Think of her as Exhibit A, the gold standard, if you will, for brattiness.
So Lou's behavior, it's textbook. We're talking about a very specific type, the toddler brat. And the profile is just classic, right? We're talking about jealousy, pickiness, and yep, crying when things don't go their way. It's not like she's malicious or anything. It's just straight up immaturity. Let's look at the file here. Okay, so she's 3.5, a ladybug. She's sociable, loves dinosaurs. Okay, pretty standard stuff. But here's the kicker, the core flaw. She really likes things to go her way. And that one little detail, that seems to be the motive for pretty much everything she does.
And get this number really shows you how often she's not happy. 28. She cried 28 separate times in the series. I mean, wow, that's a serious data point, right? It's not just a random tantrum here and there. This is a clear documented pattern of just not being able to handle it when things go wrong.
So, what are her big crimes? Well, she got jealous of a friend's new toy, she refused to try a new snack, and she gave up on trying to catch a ball. Look, I get it. That's frustrating if you're there, but let's be real. This is exactly what you'd expect from a toddler. So this is our baseline. Keep that in mind. All right, let's pivot to our second subject, the unexpected suspect. This is where things get interesting. Our challenger, the one who's supposed to be worse than a toddler who cries 28 times, is a Mr. Gaylord Robinson.
And right off the bat, you can see this is a totally different ballgame. Age, 50. Yeah, 50, not 3.5. His key traits aren't sociable and loves dinosaurs. No, we're talking grouchy, uptight, short-tempered, and his obsessions? Money, status, and just arguing. This is a whole other level.
But it gets deeper. On the outside, yeah, he's your uptight, grumpy neighbor who hates everyone. But the file says there's more going on. Inside, he's described as not just energetic and bold, but also hypocritical and traitorous. Whoa, that's not just a bad mood. That's calculated. Let's review some testimony, straight from the source. This is him during one of his classic fits of rage. And it's a reoccurring theme, isn't it? His anger is completely wrapped up in his stuff, his status, his possessions.
And listen to this one. See? That's not a toddler crying because they didn't get a toy. This is about revenge. It's a threat. This is pure, grown-up spite. And you can see a clear pattern of this behavior just getting worse and worse. It starts small, a feud over trash cans with a neighbor. Then, he's purposely making people mad while he's driving. Next thing you know, he wrecks a car in a blind rage. And finally, he gets arrested. That's a serious escalation.
Okay, but this is where things just go off the rails. This isn't about being grumpy anymore. He has actually admitted to researching Cold War CIA techniques to mess with kids' minds. Can you believe that? And he thinks it's crazy that it's illegal. This is so far beyond just being a brat.
All right, we've got the files on both of them. We've seen the evidence. Now it's time to put them head to head. Brat versus brat. Let's do this.
Okay, so this chart just makes it so clear. Age, 3.5 versus 50. Motive, a kid just wanting her way versus an adult acting out of pure spite and ego. The crime, envying a toy versus wrecking a car and getting arrested. And the resolution, this is key. One learns a lesson, like kids do. The other faces the criminal justice system. I mean, the difference is just staggering.
So we've gone through all the evidence. We've heard the testimony, analyzed the behavior. The case is pretty much closed. It's time to deliver the final verdict.
After looking at everything, from the 28 crying spells over little things all the way to researching Cold War psychological tactics, the verdict is in. And honestly, it's pretty much a no-brainer.
Yep, the worst brat is Gaylord Robinson. That initial claim from the internet? It's been verified. The evidence is overwhelming. He is, without a doubt, a worse brat than Lady Bird Lou.
And here's why it's so clear-cut. He's a 50-year-old man. He knows better. His motives aren't about just being a naive kid. They're genuinely malicious. His actions lead to actual property damage and arrests. Being a brat for him isn't a phase he'll grow out of. It's a conscious choice.
So there you have it. Case closed. The evidence is clear. But it really makes you think, doesn't it? Is a bitter adult who should know better truly worse than a toddler who just doesn't? I think so. But it also makes me wonder, is there an even bigger brat out there that we haven't even considered yet? Maybe the investigation never really ends.